So they fascinate me but terrify me at the same time.
This is the largest tornado in recorded history.
Why is that
Heading
huge?
straight for storm chasers, desperately trying to escape. In just a couple of minutes, this monster would become one of the strongest, most infamous tornadoes in modern history.
Baby! Tyler, thank you for the follow. You saw
But
it
how did this
happen?
happen? An EF5 tornado just went through Moore, Oklahoma, leveling multiple neighborhoods. The large Oklahoma City metro is left in shock at
Wait,
the
hold on. I was
devastation.
moving chat. Were those houses? They were.
The large Oklahoma City metro is...
Can you imagine just... Oh, I'm back. Hi, just found your NFL Big Hits video. Hi, welcome in. Hope you're doing well today. Can you imagine? Like, let's say you lived in this house, and then you look in your backyard, and all these houses are just gone. Like, how lucky are these people right here? I don't know. It's just insane to me, being right beside it.
May is an active time for tornadoes in Oklahoma.
You're doing
but
well. I
nothing
am
like
doing well.
this could have
Thank
been
you.
predicted. One thing about the weather,
You made
though,
that a week
is that
before?
it stops for no one.
Glad
As the
you
weather
did.
system responsible for the EF5 tornado fades to
Did it
the
hit where you
east,
were?
a new system follows from behind. Forecasters notice a strong trough on
crazy.
weather models and note it will intensify over central Oklahoma as winds push from a region of high pressure to low pressure. A band of robust winds foster the wind shear
It
needed
did hit
for
your old
storms to
house? Oh my
form.
gosh.
The summer heat and strong moisture from the
Ugh.
Gulf blend in these areas as well,
That's
giving
scary.
the atmosphere every ingredient it would need for supercell thunderstorms. But still, not every supercell is a disaster.
Feels like South Florida. I gotta tell you, I mean, my hands have been sticky all day. There's just a ton of moisture in the atmosphere right now, and a couple of storms that have already begun to fire here. Gonna show them to you. Off to our north here, this is one that's gonna head toward, we believe, Cashin. You can see a well-delineated base to this.
I still would like
so
to
we're
go on
gonna
like a
have to
tornado
position
hunt, but
ourselves
I would
in
need
a
to be in
way
like an
that lets
armored
those
car or
storms
something.
slide by us, where we can kind of avoid the larger hail cores because they've already put down some big hail.
Hundreds, possibly thousands of chasers have chosen today to chase storms. I mean, it was perfect. Right
Yeah.
in the middle of Tornado Alley, summer had
Ugh.
just rolled around, and a huge tornado had just occurred in the exact same area, enticing chasers with the prospect of another potentially historic event. With the risk directly situated on central Oklahoma, storm chasers
Ugh.
needed a good place to sit and wait, while still avoiding traffic from the huge Oklahoma City. To the west of the Oklahoma City metro, the town of El Reno presented itself as the perfect target for chasers.
It looks
I want
so
to take a
tiny
brief
now,
moment to
like
thank
when
the
they zoom
sponsor
in.
of today's video, BetterHelp. There have been times in
No,
my
I'm
life
not sponsored.
sign up for a special discount on your first month. Now back to the video. With the El Reno area packed with chasers
Thank you for the lyric
at 4:30 p.m.,
dancing.
a blip on radar
Have a good
appears,
one.
and then a couple more. With the extreme
Microphones are actually a thing
instability
with storm
present
season
or
around here.
available energy
There's
in
that
the
many
atmosphere,
chasers? I mean,
these
I guess it makes
blips
sense for
are
Tornado
quickly
Valley.
going to turn into monster supercells. Renowned storm chaser Tim Samaras tweets about the dangerous potential ahead. Storms now initiating south of Watauga along the triple point. Dangerous stay ahead for Oklahoma. Stay weather savvy. Tim is chasing with his group Twistex. His son, Paul Samaras, and a close colleague of his named Carl Young accompany him as part of the team. Their goal? Get life-saving data of tornadoes using instruments
so
like
they're the
pressure
Twister
probes.
people.
In fact, back in 2003, Tim had set the world record for the lowest pressure drop ever recorded in a tornado,
Oh,
and
that's
he was
cool.
out there to do it again, risking his life for the safety of those around him. By 5 p.m., many of the
Is it
cells
like
are
they're the
spinning
things?
and producing massive hail. This would be the start of the storm's dangerous behavior. It's not long until they begin to merge into one giant
Ugh.
complex.
I know there's a
with
hook,
the
that's
southernmost
usually
storm
where the
becoming dominant. This
tornado
dominance
starts happening.
allows it to tap into atmospheric ingredients more efficiently
So
and
hard to tell
spin
sometimes.
tighter than the others. Rapid rotation
Uh-oh.
encompasses the base of the storm, and a large wall cloud forms.
Yep,
This
there it
wall
is.
cloud highlights
Hi,
the
Toby,
missile cyclone
hi!
of the storm, essentially the portion capable of producing a tornado.
Right here, we're just south.
I mean, at
about
least you
2
can-
miles
it's
and
flat
maybe
land,
a
so you
mile
can see.
west of El Reno. This is a pretty good storm right here. We got this cloud right here.
At 6:01 p.m.,
Toby, thank
the
you for the
first report
follow.
of a tornado appears. When exactly this tornado actually touched down, however, is a little murky, as the actual base of the storm
You
is
just see the whole
enormous.
thing, though.
Instead of a thin funnel emerging from the spinning clouds, dust began to swirl randomly underneath the entire storm. While currently weak, it's
Crazy.
obvious that something big is about to happen. It's just a matter of when.
You can see
At
them.
6:03,
Oh, I
a
hate when
small
you can
funnel
just see it
stretches to the
spiraling a
ground
little bit.
before lifting back in the air.
Okay, guys, I think that's a little close.
It's
Yep.
down. Down right behind the trees.
On the ground.
Another small funnel on the ground.
Another one?
We got multiple vortexes.
That's that's so creepy.
Multi-vortexes.
It's from the same
Away from us, we're good.
same cloud?
Perfect.
What about lightning?
This is our first look at what is called a sub-vortex. You see, tornadoes are not exactly one single spiral into the air, but rather multiple strong vortices of wind spinning around a common center. Typically, these vortices are so close and similar in strength that they appear as one. But
Huh.
in this storm, the area of rotation is so large and has so much energy. These sub-vortices appear erratically and discreetly under the base.
Gosh.
Multiple smaller
Marky, the next thing you know,
circulations
freight
converge
trains
and
everywhere.
morph
Oh,
towards
I don't like
one
the
main
sound.
tornadic circulation, and the entire beast sways around unpredictably. If this isn't already confusing enough, the situation becomes more erratic as multiple
I didn't
instances
know that
of
normal
twins
tornadoes
to
were just
even quadrupled
multiple
tornadoes
funnels
occur.
already.
The storm
I
is
thought that was like
currently
for the
moving at a
scary
moderate 20
tornadoes.
miles per hour to the southeast. Remember this number for later. To the southeast of the storm, a tornado touring group called Tempest Tours, with multiple visitors, are watching the tornado. Mesmerized by it, the group's leaders are unaware of how
a lot of
close the
people.
actual tornado is, as the small subvortices dance around in random directions. In fact, the edge of the circulation is less than 3 minutes from them. The tour leader is watching the increasingly erratic vortices carefully. He expects to see the
think it's kinda
tornado
heading
moving
towards
from
him a
left
little
to
bit,
right,
but
which
at
would
an
indicate
angle?
the tornado is moving from west to east, the expected direction
It's
of motion.
tornado.
Instead, they see no motion. That's when they realize something terrifying. The tornado is moving directly towards the tour group.
Yeah,
the tour
that's.
leader
I
immediately
could tell. Well,
honks his
it was
horn
sped up
to
for
get
me,
the
so I'm
group
kind of seeing
back
it.
in the van. At this moment, they have less than 60 seconds to get out of the tornado's path.
That's Yeah, if it doesn't look like it's moving, it's coming towards you.
Yeah, we gotta move.
Yeah, and there's no ditches for you to lay in. You just gotta go. Yo, that's so cool looking.
Get in now. Get in now. Yeah, we keep going around now. Shut that door.
The tour group members jump into the vans, and the convoy bombs southwards to escape the tornado's
Yeah,
path.
I'll be flooring that thing.
Fortunately, they are able to outrun the vortex,
That's
a
good.
rare occurrence in comparison to others. The majority of chasers have positioned themselves to the south of the tornado. This is because, again, the tornado should be moving to the northeast, but because of the sudden southeast motion, they find themselves
747's like
scrambling to
Hot
get out of the
Wheels?
way of the powerful circulation. Due
I
to the
don't like
hundreds of
that.
chasers, mobility is severely hindered as traffic jams begin to form.
Oh, that's
the hype
scary.
caused by the active season has caused a backlog of chasers
There's
itching
that
to get
many?
as close to the tornado as possible. This is a grave mistake, as that decision, combined with the erratic motion and
That's-
structure of the tornado, is creating one of the most dangerous environments around a tornado possible. Due east of the tornado at 6:09 p.m.,
I don't even know
storm
what to think about
chasers Brett Wright and
So
Brandon
many people.
Sullivan are watching the tornado only 3,000 yards away. The chaotic movement of the subvortices
dark.
make it difficult to determine the movement of the tornado, but they assume the tornado is headed east to northeast,
Put out special warnings
which would
about
be
not shooting other
essentially
Bigfoot
directly for
hunters
them.
out in the
Analyzing
woods.
the
Wait,
situation,
what?
they decide the smartest possible thing to do would
I
be
guess if they
to
see
drive
any movement,
south.
there he is.
But this is a freak tornado, and the decision would place them in a deadly situation
Oh,
as
it started
winds begin to
turning.
batter
That's
the vehicle.
unfortunate.
Oh my gosh. Debris! Debris!
It's coming up. That whole thing's coming up.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yep.
Up for you.
Keep going, Andrew. Keep going. Keep going. Why is this guy stopping?
Well, the guy's stopping because the thing's shattering in front of him. Oh my gosh.
You may be confused as to why they waited until the tornado was so close to them, but the same illusion that almost
Survived
killed the
head
tour
on?
group has struck again. making the motion seem much less
scary,
direct
though.
than usual. The
Glad
wet
you're
roads
fine.
and gusting winds mean their car is limited to max 40 miles per hour, a
Oof.
speed which is not at all fast enough to escape the massive growing wind field. As the strongest inflow winds feeding into the tornado strike them, a nearby farmhouse is torn apart, pelting their car with debris and shattering the windshield. They are just barely able to keep moving though, escaping the tornado by less than 40 seconds. At the same moment,
Yeah, I mean,
exactly 1 mile
that's just
north
unlucky
of
how
Wright
just
and Sullivan,
it was going
the
this way and then it
Twist
just
X route
curved straight
is turning
towards
east
them.
onto Reno Road. Right now, the team is trying to get in the path of the intensifying tornado by
You're there.
paralleling the tornado from the north. Their hope is to outrace it, allowing them to drive south ahead of it. As they follow the tornado, they no longer see a collection
Barely
of
missed the apartments
sub-vortices
you were
like
at. Oh
earlier,
my gosh.
but instead a giant
That was creepy,
wedge,
like coming
a
out to
tornado
see everything.
that's wider than it is tall. This doesn't mean that there aren't extreme sub-vortices though. In fact, they are just hidden inside the dust and debris. The only way to see where the sub-vortices are now would be by actually looking inside the storm, which is precisely what the crew in control of a mobile radar truck are doing. What they observe is very rare. For most normal tornadoes, the rotating core of the storm will exact its power
there's
into
tornadoes
a
by the-
single
here, Allie.
point. But here,
Oh, it's true, go
the
ahead. That
mesocyclone
loud
is
Amber
so
Alert scared
powerful,
the-
multiple distinct
Amber Alert?
rotations are
Uh-oh.
forming within the circulation. The wind speeds and erratic motion are alarming to the people inside the radar truck. Less
Yeah,
than
those
half a mile
hurricanes lately have been
behind the
bringing in
Twist X crew,
tornadoes.
Reed Timmer
Crazy.
and Team Dominator are also following the tornado. Storm chaser Ray Bohack is filming from within one of the team's 3 storm chasing vehicles. Dominator 1, he captures the monster in front of them. The massive wedge tornado.
So
can
wait,
be
I would
seen
chase a
in the
car,
center
like
of the
chase a
storm,
tornado in like
with
a normal
Team Twist
car.
X just up ahead, right next to the tornado. Unknown to the team though, they're in a very dangerous location.
Oh, that looks unreal. The music's making it even more like crazy.
The radar truck records another vortex form over the El Reno airport. This
Oh,
vortex sweeps just behind the team, when suddenly another vortex forms further to the southwest side of the wedge. Within the storm, there are now 3 or more visible vortices rotating around each other. The radar truck crew observes how the formation of these new tornadoes causes some crazy, unpredictable behavior. Here, the main wedge is pulled north by the forming vortex, lunging towards Reno Road, towards
call
the
you Spit?
Twist
Yeah, you can
X
call me
crew.
Spit.
Inside Twist X's vehicle,
Gotta go to bed.
Paul Samaras
Okay,
has
good
a
night,
video
Toby.
camera and is capturing the encounter.
Thanks
While
for
the
hanging
footage they
out.
recorded
Hope
is
you have a good
lost,
sleep.
the dialogue of the 3 crew members
You can call me
has
Spit
been
or Spitty.
transcribed.
Either way.
Carl Young urges Tim to continue east to get ahead of the tornado.
We could pass it right now, Tim. It's no problem. Really. I mean, I have a clear shot.
But Tim realizes something's wrong.
We've got debris in the air. That's the problem.
As the wedge curves towards them, the outer bands begin to impact them, pelting the car with debris.
We've got to turn to the north. That's good. We're gonna follow it around to the north and get out of here.
They turn north onto Reformatory Road, battling
Good.
70-mile-per-hour winds feeding into the tornado. While this is happening, a civilian named Richard Henderson is also on Reno Road, just ahead of Twist X. He had watched the tornado touch down 10 minutes prior, where he had snapped an image of the forming tornado on his cell phone to send to a friend. Before he made a phone call, Henderson says,
I'm having fun. I'm riding around chasing storms.
Haha.
Henderson's friend expressed concern,
You better stop doing that.
but Henderson kept chasing, continuing east on Reno Road. When the tornado made its lunge north, Henderson kept pushing eastwards. The friend recalls hearing popping noises as debris hit Henderson's car.
That's
Soon,
gotta be
the car
scary.
went dead. If the wedge keeps going north, both Twist X and Henderson won't just be hit by debris, but be directly struck by the violent tornado. In some miracle, the wedge decides to make a complete loop and begins to head south again. This
Oh,
sudden
that's
loop
weird.
allowed Twist X to escape north.
Yeah,
where they
Henderson
can
was a
turn
little
west
too
onto
aggressive.
10th Street to make another attempt at safely
Thinks he's
intercepting the
invincible,
tornado.
basically.
The dark mass now deviates slightly to the east, and with this change in path, a change in speed. The tornado is no longer moving at the reasonable 20 miles per hour from the beginning of its life. Now, it's racing eastwards at more than 50 miles per hour. Any chaser east of the tornado now suddenly finds themselves escaping a deadly situation. There is a huge issue though. There are now potentially hundreds of chasers clogging the wet dirt roads, making it practically impossible to get out of the way.
Yeah,
One chaser who finds himself stuck in the chaser traffic jam is Skip Talbot. He's in a group of chasers watching the storm approach from the intersection of 15th and Country
Is there
Club
any way
Road.
to get
Up
out?
until now, dust has
Somewhere
obscured
safe?
the tornado from sight, except when lightning strikes briefly, illuminating the approaching circulation from behind. But even as the tornado closes, the heavy rain hides the chaotic Ferris wheel of vortices from sight. The group stays, waiting to gain a visual on the tornado.
Dee.
After all, the tornado is still about 2 miles away, but gradually, Talbot notices something unusual. He watches as the rain curtains sweep from left to right at increasingly fast speeds. The rain must be rushing around at more than 100 miles per hour. This
Hey,
triggers a sudden epiphany. The rain is the tornado. The
Yeah, that whole
entire
thing is the
area
tornado.
is starting to gain tornadic winds. The group makes the smart decision to scramble east. As they turn onto 15th
Run.
Street, they join a
Dive
bumper-to-bumper
into a ditch or
line
storm
of
drain
chasers,
pipe. Storm drain
all
pipe?
running for their lives.
Oh, there's
Not
already
everyone
debriefing thrown
in this
around a
line
little
is
bit.
a chaser, though. A couple minutes before, local resident Billy O'Neill and his son-in-law Jose Bonilla are watching the approaching tornado. Bonilla urges O'Neill to get into the neighbor's storm cellar, but he's too claustrophobic. Because of this, the pair decide to try and outrun the tornado in their car. They drive
I would say,
south
suck it
towards
up,
15th
get in
Street, where
here.
They see the line of chasers fleeing the approaching funnel.
Or punch him, knock him
O'Neill
out.
stops and waves on the chasers,
no choice
even
then.
as the tornado approaches closer and closer. Eventually,
You know, I had this issue when I was working. There's tornadoes like all around us, and I was at a branch at like a financial institution, and I was the one in charge. And I'm like, "Hey guys, we gotta get in the vault, like now, right now." And then I had a few people. They're like, "No, I'm claustrophobic. I don't want to get in there." I said, "I will drag you in here." I said, "We'll keep it open. But if the lights go off, you're coming in. I'll fan you, whatever you need to do. I'm not letting you stay out there just because you're claustrophobic. Close your eyes and think you're in a big open field, okay? But you want to stay out there with the tornado hit? No, you're getting your butt in here. I'm gonna make you. I'll knock you out."
the last car passes. and they're able to
not
turn
my
onto
watch.
15th
Nope.
Street, but the tornado
get over
is
it.
moving way too fast.
Yeah, I'm tornado phobic.
Unfortunately, there's no chance of escape. Ahead of them, they see a pickup truck turn south onto a dirt road. Inside is the driver, Dustin Heath Bridges, and passenger, Wyatt Mindeman.
There's so
They
many
have both been
people.
caught in the storm whilst heading towards the nearby town of Yukon. O'Neill follows them in a last-ditch attempt to get out of the tornado's path. It's too late, though. Power lines are brought down onto Bridges' truck, trapping both cars as the tornado overtakes them. Bonilla recalls, all the windows blew out. We started rolling. It was like slow motion. Both cars roll at least 150 yards before they come to a stop, right side up on a completely different road. Bonilla climbs
They're
out of their
okay?
door and hears screaming from Bridges' pickup. He runs over to find Bridges hanging out of the door by his seatbelt. Mindeman is sat with a crushed leg, unable to help him. Bonilla rushes back to O'Neill to get help, but when he arrives, he realizes O'Neill has passed away.
No.
Bonilla grabs a piece of broken glass to cut Bridges free from his seatbelt. Paramedics soon descend on the scene, but when they arrive, Bridges has gone unresponsive. He and O'Neill are pronounced dead at the scene, the first deaths attributed to the tornado.
That's so sad.
1 mile north on Reno Road, there is
That's so
another line of
sad.
chasers fleeing eastwards. The last person in this traffic
Those
is the
other two people
previously
were
mentioned
super
Richard
lucky.
Henderson. Henderson was able to make ground on the tornado when it looped behind him, but now it's closing on him again. The crowd of vehicles now converge on Highway 81, a major road running north to south. Here, many chasers make a life or death decision, continue east and hope they can outrun the tornado on the dirt roads, or turn south onto Highway 81 and hope they can outrun the tornado before it hits them.
Can't go
Skip
north?
Talbot and Richard Henderson make the decision to continue fleeing east. At the same time, half a mile north of
Oh, come
Henderson, a group of chasers from the Weather Channel
They're just
are
coming
about
down.
to make a different decision. A decision that may be the biggest mistake of their lives.
Oh, from the actual Weather
team
Channel?
is made up of 3 vehicles. The lead vehicle is driven by Kevin Parrish, which is then followed by a vehicle named the Bettsmobile because it is operated by Mike Betts, a Weather Channel reporter. Betts' producer, Austin Anderson, and a cameraman named Brad Reynolds also accompany him. The convoy stops just north of Reno Road, so
Yippee!
Bets can make a
Luffy, thank you
live
for the follow.
broadcast as the tornado approaches from the southwest.
All right, that's Simon Brewer, one of the storm riders, and I think we're trying to get a hold of Mike Bettis. He's out there in the field. I believe this is the Mike's shot here.
That's the tornado hunt team.
Hey, Mike,
Crazy.
I think he's just now
Well, he's
plugging
got a
in.
tornado behind him.
Yeah, Mike, can you hear us?
Guys, that's it. Right there. There's the tornado. We are just north of Union City, south of El Reno, south of I-40. Cops have blocked off 81 at this point and not letting traffic go southbound because the path of the tornado could come right over top of Union City or
I can't
pass
tell
very
where it's
close
going.
to it.
So
Look
wide.
at that monster. This is a huge tornado. If you live in Union City, south of El Reno, you have to take shelter. We may actually quickly try to get in our cars and get south of this. That'd be the safest place to do that. I think we have to go now in order to stay ahead of this and not get run over by it. So guys, I think we're gonna get back in our cars. We're gonna try to keep our cameras on top of this and we're gonna roll just to stay safe, okay? We'll be back with you in just a minute, but huge, violent tornado right now approaching Union City, south of El Reno, Oklahoma.
Their decision to drive south seems like a reasonable idea. To their north and west, giant, record-sized hail is falling. Traveling east would keep them in the potential path of the tornado, so booking it south towards clear air is by far the most appealing option. Sadly, once again, illusions hide the danger they're about to put themselves in. You see, the tornado is so large, it seems like it's barely moving yet again. But again, when a tornado doesn't appear to be moving, usually it's moving towards you. This illusion likely makes the team believe they are directly in the path, prompting the Weather Channel convoy to head south rather than stay put. The truth is, the tornado is now racing due east at 55 miles per hour. But it's not just moving at 55 miles per hour,
Growing?
because as well as this, the tornado's size is expanding faster now than any tornado in history. In less than 60 seconds, the wind field expands from 1 mile to 2 miles in width. This means the tornado is literally expanding towards Highway 81
That's
at 30
insane.
miles per hour. Combining these values, the tornado's forward speed is coming directly at them at over 80 miles per hour. As the convoy begins to drive south, they quickly realize their mistake. The rain begins to clear, once again exposing the erratic multi-vortex core. The funnel is smaller in size now, but the contraction of the core has actually made the winds stronger. Aerial imagery from after the tornado shows the path of scouring the tornado was creating at this time. But even though the funnel is nearly a mile away, the wind field is beginning to cross the highway. They pick up speed, traveling south at over 70 miles per hour.
Thank you for
But
the
still,
2
the tornado is outpacing them.
Thank you.
Parrish watches as dozens of vortices sweep towards them. It's now less than
ninja.
300 yards away. Winds into the storm suddenly spike to more than 120 miles per hour, lifting and slamming his car into the central divider before sucking it into the roadside ditch. Behind him, Bets is filming.
Y'all are like in the tornado. Stretch. Yeah, that's so cool. You can see the vortexes, but creepy at the same time. Oh no.
Everybody just go. Just keep going if you can. Keep going.
Parrish can be seen in the ditch just before the winds of the Betsmobile are smashed in as the core passes directly overhead.
Yeah, this is the Oklahoma tornado.
Bet's camera is ejected from a window upon impact, but continues filming. The Betsmobile can be seen rolling away, with the three
Guardian!
still inside. To the north, a separate tour group operated by Randy Walton is attempting to navigate through the traffic jam of chasers on Reno Road. Their tour group is about 30 seconds ahead of Henderson, but instead of continuing east like Henderson, they turn north. 50 seconds later,
There's so
they
many-
approach the intersection of Highway 81 and a road named Reuter Road. At this exact same time, the TwistX crew is now approaching Highway 81. Neither TwistX nor Henderson are aware of the incredible speeds.
I think you just
at
called
which
it a
the
tour group.
tornado
It's like
has
a lot of
expanded
tornado
eastwards.
chasers at
Tim
the same
says,
time.
We're probably gonna have to cross 81 if this road is good, and then try and drop down if we got some viable roads.
They pull up behind a
It's
Toyota
like a movie,
Yaris.
how the camera
The
just keeps
driver
recording
is
and
storm
while
chaser Dan
watching the
Robinson.
vehicle
Robinson
roll, I'm
has a rear
assuming they
dash cam
didn't
rolling,
fake
filming
it?
TwistX right behind him. Robinson looks south and also sees the tornado crossing the highway. This convinces him to continue east onto Reuter Road. TwistX decides the same. Randy Walton records Robinson's Yaris crossing 81, followed by the TwistX crew's white Chevrolet Cobalt. Walton and his group would have no clue they were recording the last
What year is
moments
this?
of the TwistX crew. Thinking quickly,
Oh, Reno?
Walton
I don't know what
also
the year is,
decides
though.
to turn onto Reuter behind them.
Right on 81. Yeah. Copy.
Rooster Road?
Go slow. Copy. Go to the highway, back where we came from, and go keep going where we're going. Turn around.
They're like, hey, I can see it from here. Let me
And
stop.
then go back the exact same way we were just going.
This decision to turn around, without a doubt, saved their lives. But Dan and TwistX are continuing down Reuter. To the south, Henderson is still stuck behind the line of chasers on Reno Road. After the powerful core strikes the Weather Channel convoy, it begins to do something that no chaser was expecting. It begins to move north. The heavy rain is not only
he's
slowing down
moving.
the line of chasers in front of him, but it's also completely obscuring the tornado that's rapidly approaching him. As far as he's aware, the tornado is still a mile to his south, where he last spotted it. But in an instant, the winds begin to roar and debris begins to pelt his
Yeah, I
vehicle.
wouldn't chase a tornado
There
in
is
a
quite
Cobalt
literally no
or a
time
Yaris.
to react to what's happening as
Give me
the
a
tornado
tank.
roars just behind him, east of the intersection of Alphaville and
we're
Reno roads. His car is
basically about
lifted
to
and
meet.
flung off the side of the road. He disappears into the darkness. Emily Sutton, a chaser just ahead of Robinson, films the core once again revealing itself.
Hey,
The
people
funnel
are-
is a stovepipe shape, no more than 250 yards wide at its base, but the wind field is still growing. To the north, TwistX still can't see the tornado. Heavy rain to their south means it's essentially invisible, and determining its motion is impossible. They can only assume it's continuing eastwards.
This thing is moving 40 miles an hour, 30 to 40 miles an hour to the east.
Tim is likely guessing here, as the tornado is much closer and moving much faster. As the rain begins to clear, it's hard to discern what exactly is to their south.
No, I see it. Well, maybe I don't.
Tim looks up the road. Dan Robinson's car is just ahead, and rain bands begin to sweep towards the road.
I've seen
He
trucks where
glances
they
back
are
towards the
armored
massive
and they
rain,
like
where the funnel is beginning to reveal itself. The air
screw
around
something
them
into the
grows,
ground to
quote,
hold them down so
eerily
that it doesn't
calm.
flip over.
There's no rain here. Actually, I think we're in a bad spot.
These are the last words that we verifiably have of the TwistX crew before the camera recording cuts off. It had used all of its storage, but at this point, the tornado is 90 seconds away. Robinson's rear dashcam continues to capture the white Chevy Cobalt. He also begins to realize what's happening.
What is that? What is that? It looks like the tornado. The car won't go. I've got to get out of whatever this is. The car just isn't going.
TwistX's Chevy, with less power than Robinson's Toyota, falls behind him. The rear dashcam captures the car disappearing from a pair of headlights to a single speck of light. And soon, the tiny speck of light is extinguished. The wall of darkness has consumed the road. Oklahoma Highway
That's
Patrol Officer
scary.
Betsy Randolph is nearby and is listening to her radio
It did
when she
another-
hears a
another
disturbing
loop?
shout. We're going to die. We're going to die. The transmission went dead immediately afterwards. It is believed that this transmission was from the TwistX vehicle as the main circulation overtook their car. By the time Robinson pulls clear of the tornado, it has grown to its full width, an incredible 2.6 miles wide. The rain has fully cleared, and now the inner mechanisms of the disgusting monster can be seen. Huge sub-vortices sweep around at incredible speeds. The mobile radar truck from earlier has paralleled the tornado to the north on Interstate 40 and is watching the tornado approach. As the radar scans the tornado, they record something incredible. Inside the circulation, wind speeds of 296 miles per hour, the second highest wind speeds ever, are measured. Moments later, a satellite tornado arcs around the south side of the main one with a ground speed of 175 miles
This
per
tornado
hour.
just-
This is
it
the
won't
highest forward
stay on the
speed
same
ever
spot.
recorded for a tornado. Within minutes, this tornado
swooping and
has
up
come
and
close
down
to
and
or has
right.
broken numerous records. It continues moving northeast, forcing the radar team to begin to flee east on I-40.
The two
But
loops, the
here,
loops.
they realize the magnitude of the disaster that is about to unfold. I-40 is a major
Crazy,
highway
we're seeing all
that
these,
is
like,
packed
storm
with civilians
chasers.
and storm chasers alike. An
And not-
EF5 strength
Well, I
tornado
guess there's not really
with winds
like a lot of
approaching 300 miles per hour
buildings
here
that way.
could kill hundreds. Worse yet, if the tornado continues to track east, it will enter Oklahoma City. Panic begins to ensue in the Oklahoma City metro area. Residents haven't even
That's a
begun to
weird
clean
path.
up from the EF5 and more the week before, and now an even larger storm is closing in on the city. The panic only worsens the mob of cars congesting the interstate. But even when the situation seems like it couldn't get any worse, the lead newscaster for the Metro, Mike Morgan, says this
I can't even get out and get in that building because that's just a metal building.
If you can go south right now, if you don't feel safe, go south. Get out of its way. Reed Timmer is on that. Reed, what do you have?
This dire language prompts tens of thousands more to attempt to flee the area towards the south, bringing the area's already heavily congested traffic to a complete standstill.
Like, why is it
Thousands
congested?
are
Just
now
go
stuck
down
in the
my way.
path of this massive,
Go fast.
violent tornado. Its erratic movement means forecasters have no idea what it's about to do next. If it continues eastward, it will follow
Good night,
I-40,
Last
where
Hope.
hundreds of cars are stuck. The
Have a
outcome
good one, okay?
of a violent tornado hitting this traffic jam could be a death toll in the hundreds.
Now it's just
the
going
tornado
straight
is
up.
once again hidden by rain as it approaches I-40. Subvortices still sweep around the main circulation, one of which swipes a small neighborhood of homes. Fortunately, the fast-forward speed of the subvortex spares total destruction of the area. As the tornado crosses I-40, it loops before heading due east.
What is wrong with
Following
this
the interstate,
tornado?
hundreds of cars and structures
Hydrate.
are now in the path. And beyond the interstate, the densely populated suburbs of the Oklahoma City metro are now in direct sight. It's not long until chaos begins to ensue on the interstate. Numerous 18-wheeler
Storm
trucks
chasers do we
were toppled.
lose?
People's cars were picked up and rolled, and while many were able to survive, this luck would not last. Maria Martin, her husband, and their 3 children had pulled over their minivan onto the side of the interstate, hoping the tornado would pass by. Only the husband and 2 of the children were still inside the vehicle, injured but alive. Maria and her 17-day-old baby passed away.
No.
Just as the core of the tornado inches near the highway, a miracle seems to occur. The circulation begins to become increasingly messy,
That's
and
so
it's weakening.
sad.
Within a couple of seconds, the tornado would disappear into nothing. As the storm passes, law enforcement and chasers comb over the damaged path, racing nightfall to try and help those affected by the tornado. Fortunately, no structures were hit by the strongest winds in the tornado. If they had, EF5 damage could have easily been inflicted and more people could have died. But the real tragedies that occurred during the tornado were in vehicles. Along Highway 81 and I-40, dozens of cars have been flipped or rolled, but so far, no deaths have been reported. Canadian County Sheriff's Deputy Doug Green is one of the people assisting in search and rescue. He drives down Reuter Road when he spies something in a canola patch. He approaches the mangled heap of metal to find the body of Tim Samaras. By the next morning, the bodies of Paul Samaras and Carl Young will also be recovered after they are found ejected from the vehicle. Soon, Richard Henderson is also added to the list of fatalities attributed to the tornado, making the official death toll 8. Before today, no tornado had ever killed a storm chaser, but this one alone had killed 4, including a veteran chase group. Tim Samaras was well respected in the chase community, and although his work involved venturing close to one of the most dangerous places on the surface of the planet, he was regarded as someone who always put safety first. But the record-breaking and erratic nature of this tornado meant that no chaser was safe, and has become a historic footnote in how little we understand about the behavior of tornadoes.
That's insane. Because usually tornadoes, I mean, from what I see, they just kind of go on a straight path. This one was looping around and going, it kept changing direction.